Imagine discovering a diary that could condemn you to life in prison. Now imagine that diary is your own. This is the chilling reality faced by Kathleen Folbigg, a woman whose personal writings became the key evidence in a case that shocked Australia and the world. Dubbed Australia's most hated woman, Kathleen Folbigg was convicted of killing her 4 children over a 10-year period. But was justice truly served, or did a grieving mother's private thoughts lead to a tragic miscarriage of justice? In this video, we'll dive deep into the controversial case that has divided experts and left a nation questioning the very foundations of its legal system. As we unravel this haunting tale, we'll explore the power of words, the complexities of grief, and the fine line between coincidence and criminality. But be warned, by the end of this video, everything you thought you knew about the Kathleen Folbigg case may be turned upside down. Are you ready to confront the truth behind one of Australia's most infamous criminal cases? Hey there, true crime enthusiasts. Have you ever heard of Kathleen Folbigg? She's been called Australia's most hated woman. But why? What could someone do to earn such a terrible title? Today, we're diving into the chilling story of Kathleen Folbigg. A tale of 4 children, 4 deaths, and 1 diary that changed everything. Let's unravel this complex case together. Kathleen Folbigg was born on June 14, 1967, in Sydney, Australia. Her early life was far from easy. When she was just 18 months old, her father killed her mother. Kathleen grew up in foster care, moving from home to home. Despite this rocky start, she seemed to overcome her difficult childhood. In 1987, she married Craig Folbigg. The couple looked forward to starting a family of their own. In 1989, Kathleen gave birth to their first child, Caleb. But tragedy struck when Caleb was just 19 days old. He was found dead in his cot. The cause was listed as sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS. The Folbiggs were devastated but tried to move forward. In 1990, their second son Patrick was born. At 4 months old, Patrick suffered what seemed to be a near-miss SIDS event. He was left with epilepsy and blindness. Then, at 8 months old, Patrick died. His death was attributed to an epileptic fit. In 1992, Kathleen gave birth to their third child, Sarah. Sarah lived for 10 months before she too was found dead in her cot. Once again, SIDS was listed as the cause. The Folbiggs' fourth child, Laura, was born in 1997. This time, they took extra precautions. They used sleep apnea blankets and monitored Laura closely. But in March 1999, 19-month-old Laura was also found dead. Her death was initially attributed to myocarditis, an inflammation of the heart muscle. 4 children, 4 deaths. The odds of this happening naturally were astronomical. Suspicions began to grow. In 1999, Craig Folbigg discovered Kathleen's personal diaries. What he found inside was shocking. Kathleen had written entries that seemed to implicate herself in the children's deaths. One entry read, "I know I was responsible for what happened." Another, "With Sarah, all I wanted was her to shut up. And one day she did." Craig took the diaries to the police. This led to a thorough investigation of all 4 deaths. In 2003, Kathleen Folbigg was put on trial. The prosecution argued that she had smothered all 4 of her children. They pointed to the diary entries as evidence of her guilt. Kathleen's defense team argued that her writings were simply the confused ramblings of a grieving mother. They suggested that genetic factors might explain the deaths. But the jury wasn't convinced. On May 21, 2003, Kathleen Folbigg was found guilty on 3 counts of murder and 1 of manslaughter. She was sentenced to 40 years in prison, with a non-parole period of 30 years. The case seemed closed, but the story wasn't over. In the years that followed, questions began to emerge about the conviction. Some medical experts argued that genetic factors could indeed explain the deaths. They pointed out that SIDS and other natural causes hadn't been conclusively ruled out. In 2015, Kathleen's lawyers lodged a petition for a judicial review of her case. They argued that new scientific evidence supported Kathleen's innocence. In 2019, an inquiry was held to examine this new evidence. However, the inquiry upheld Kathleen's convictions. But the story took another turn in 2022. A group of 90 eminent scientists, including 2 Nobel laureates, signed a petition. They argued that there was strong evidence of natural causes for the children's deaths. This led to a second inquiry, which began in November 2022. The inquiry heard new genetic evidence. 2 of the Folbigg children were found to have a rare genetic mutation. This mutation has been linked to sudden death in young children. Experts testified that this could explain at least some of the deaths. As for the damning diary entries, psychologists offered a different interpretation. They suggested that Kathleen's writings reflected the complex emotions of a grieving mother. Her feelings of guilt and responsibility were seen as normal responses to losing a child. The inquiry is ongoing as of 2023. The outcome could potentially change how we view Kathleen Folbigg's case. It raises important questions about the role of scientific evidence in criminal cases. And it reminds us of the complexities involved in cases of sudden infant death. The story of Kathleen Folbigg is far from over. It's a case that challenges our assumptions and tests our justice system. What do you think about this case? Do you believe Kathleen Folbigg is guilty, or could she be the victim of a terrible miscarriage of justice? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video interesting, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more true crime stories. Remember, in complex cases like these, the truth isn't always black and white. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.